We have a century of fuel loading in our forests. These forests are rapidly drying with climate change, and so that's driven a really remarkable increase in fire activity and resulting wildfire smoke.
When I first started this research, there was a real question about whether this smoke was even harmful.
Pound for pound, wildfire smoke, much more toxic.
But it's important to remember that these exposures are not associated solely with respiratory and cardiovascular events.
One thing we're learning more about are the mental health effects of smoke.
The longer you're in smoke, the worse you feel because your body has been fighting it that entire time.
The reason the World Forestry Center wanted to host this program today, specifically on the public health impacts of wildfire smoke, is because we see that as one of the most critical and timely issues in the wildfire conversation.
So we've seen a 10-fold, 100-fold increase in the number of people exposed to really, really bad days from wildfire smoke.
Communicating and working with farm workers who are constantly outside during harvest season, when wildfire season is starting, and when harvest season is ending, there is a lot of uncertainty and concern around what this means for their long-term impact.
The wildfires could exacerbate what we already know of as existing social and economic inequities that put vulnerable populations at higher health risks.
Wildfires used to be relatively infrequent and sort of impacted mostly rural areas. Now they've become regular events, and they also impact our major urban centers.
That we all need to be prepared. Whether we're on the West Coast or the East Coast, smoke is going to travel.
The air quality in my small hometown surrounded by cornfields in Michigan was far worse than the air quality in Portland.
I'm really excited to see some rules being put in place in Oregon, Washington, and California, but it's not equally distributed across the country.
You can regulate other pollutants and you can't regulate wildfire smoke.
Our regulation that has been so successful in improving air quality are not at the moment set up very well to regulate this new air pollutant.
There's really an opportunity here, but we need intentionality and we need help at the table.
And so when you think about what the costs of action are relative to the cost of inaction, I think it's a really good investment for us to be taking this very seriously.
I think it's so awesome that World Forestry Center did this first program from researchers, and now it's talking with kind of the on-the-ground people.
We are moving in the right direction in terms of making the right investments, either to help individuals limit their exposures or to think about large-scale investments in forests to reduce the risks. But we need to do a lot more, and we need to scale these up.